Okay. I have no idea if I'm on there at all. So, or how it actually works. Oh, okay. So apparently, if you put a comment on, then it comes up on this screen here, which is on StreamYard. Right. Okay. Cool. There it is. It's live on YouTube as well. Apparently, if I try and go on, it messes like on Facebook for certain. It says it all messes it all up. So if anybody's on Facebook and it's coming on live, you can let me know. I should have asked Janine to go and check it, shouldn't I? I haven't got Facebook on my phone, so I can't go and check it. Right, so that's it there. Private chat. Okay, so what's the difference? Comments are there and private chat is there, right? Hi from Leslie from Canada. Hi Tommy and Bobby Joe and just an Alison on there. All right. Andy, hello Andy. How are you doing? Tennessee, USA. Awesome. Brilliant. So I have no idea how this works. This is the first time I've done this StreamYard. Obviously, you must all be able to see me. And I would presume with it going on live onto YouTube that it'll get recorded, because there's no record button, the same as what you have like on the Zoom link. So I don't know. Fingers crossed it does. We can only learn, can't we? You know, live and learn as we go along. Yeah, can see me. Cool. Excellent. All righty. So I've come on early just to give it a try, because you know, like I say, the someone's trying to enter the studio but it's full. Oh, right. Okay. So why is that then? They must just have to go. Right. Oh, I see. So you're only a certain few allowed in the studio, and then the rest have to go live. Ah, so I didn't know that. So there you go. So that's something that you learn. So I'm gonna wear 2 seconds while I quickly send a message out to people. I'm gonna get loads of messages all saying I can't get on. Okay, so anyway, you learn something there, don't you? Let's go up to here. Strawman. I'm gonna go to YouTube. Now then, I don't know if I can actually share my screen the same as I do on a Zoom call either. I'm just going to do this email, send it out to everyone. Need my glasses to see what I'm doing when I'm writing. Right. Send that off to everyone. So this is the good thing about having autoresponder. You can actually send it off the thousands at the same time. Managed to get in without a mic. I had to enter with mic and cam button, but then it lets you enter without the next page. Okay. All right. So it's limited. Yeah. I mean, I didn't know. That's I thought everybody would come on to the StreamYard thing, but there's about 20 that are going on watching it live. It tells you up there, but let's have a look, see if there's comments on there as well. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, there's a few people watching on Facebook there. Can't watch live, watch the replay. That's good. Live in Facebook as well. Melbourne, Australia. Excellent. Okay. People going off to work. Then New Zealand. Awesome. Look, it's all over the place. Canada. Oh, man, this is brilliant. So, obviously going live on Facebook and hey, Timebar, how you doing? And YouTube is okay. That's good for that, but I didn't realize that when you've done it through the StreamYard thing that it only allowed a certain amount of people on the actual software and everyone else had to go out. I know that's the idea, but I've never used it before. You got to learn, haven't you? Look, see, I'm getting watched from Scotland as well. There's still loads of people trying to come into the actual Estonia. Wow. The what do you call it? The studio. So hopefully they'll get the message that I've sent out, and they'll just go and watch it on Facebook or on YouTube on there. Still going to give them a few minutes just to get over it. So it's early yet anyway. It's not even 6 o'clock yet. And there's there will be a mixture of people on here, a mixture of levels, let's call it that. So some people will be complete newbies, let's call them that. So we're going to go over some basic stuff as well. I'm not going to go over loads of advanced stuff, because we have got the members on there that have done quite a lot of webinar training and going into the forms and everything like that, and what I might have to do is actually just print and read some things out that I wanted to actually share. Caramel Soldier, I like that name. Hello, everybody. But I don't think you can share screen with this. Does anyone know? You can let me know if you can share the screen. I don't think you can, because it would be I'm scared to touch anything as well. The comments on there, private chat there, share button on the bottom. It's on the bottom. Oh yeah, share. Let's have a look at that then. Share screen. Let's have a look. Screen sharing is easy with 2 monitors. Screen works best as good on a good computer. Well, I think this is good. Okay. How do you do it though? So if I put that on, oh, no, hang on a second. So if I go on there, I don't know. That's what I want to show. Where's it gone now then? That's what I wanted to share. I'm sharing this to StreamYard. Okay, this is my website. What I'll do is I'll come back and see if I see what they mean now. You could have actually been able to see both. So I'm just testing it. So I'm going to stop and go back on there. All right. So am I back on here now as normal? Yeah, Richard, I didn't know that. Like, I thought everybody would just go on the software, but you have to actually just go to YouTube or Facebook. It only allows 10 people into here. Obviously, it must be like if you have a meeting and 10 people and everyone else can watch. Like I say, I've never used it before. We're just going to learn. And yeah, it's brilliant. All the different places there. Look, you know, we've got Dimebor on from Spain. I was chatting to him last night. Obviously, a lot of us from all over England, but you got like New Zealand, Australia, even Scotland, Canada. Oh, there was one. Where is it there? But cool, very good, very good. All right, so did that share? Can anybody let me know if that shared and then came back to this? All right, so you've seen it and then I'm back. Yes, good. Okay. All right, so hopefully I'll be able to share a couple of things that I wanted to go over, although I did actually print some out because I didn't know what I was going to do. Because a lot of people were like asking about sort of like, you know, what happens or what to say if they're having to deal with some of these like clowns in costumes, you know. A lot of more and more people all the time are actually, you know, being in the situations where you're having to deal with them and how to actually talk to them. Now you have to put your case across strongly and, you know, not be hesitant, but there is absolutely nothing wrong, okay, in actually having something printed out and reading from it, right? Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I'm sure I've seen a video of somebody doing that, and that what they had done is I can't remember why it was you know, the clowns were knocking on the door and she wouldn't open the door, which is great. Really, that's what you should never do, open the door. And I'm going to read this out to you that I've wrote, which I'm going to like put up there for people to print out and have themselves. And this is what I would be saying if I had to deal with them in that scenario in any way at all. I don't know, obviously, what's going to happen as we progress through this year. But my instincts are, right, that come September, October time, November, I think the whole thing's going to shut, right? I think that they're going to have, you know, a massive amount of all of this thing are going to start doing this. All right. So, and they're going to blame people like us who haven't, you know. And then on top of that, I just think because they're going to blame, like, you know, a new variant. They're going to get the bag of Revels, pull one out. Look at it. Look, it's the chocolate toffee one, and get another one of them. And I reckon was going to shut down. And I think from that, I'm looking on from my business point of view. I don't want to have to close it again. You know, so I'm looking at what I'm going to do. So I've already set up exactly what I'm going to be saying, which is what we're going to go over here. But also, my whole point is for them is to arrest whoever comes and messes around with me, you know, and I will be doing it legally or lawfully, both, because it is all right, because you have to do it like under an act, and you can. So the hi from Durham as well, not so far away. You know, and that's what I'll be looking to do. And you know, with that in mind, which I have shown people before, you know, I have got my own handcuffs. There's no furry pink fur on these ones. These are real. All right. So that's what I would be looking to use. And we also have, you know, just the same as what they're doing. Okay. To spray if they resist arrest. But again, everything that we're talking about, like I said, there's the two sides, legal and lawful, and we can actually be in both realms at the same time. Okay. Now, what I would do when we're talking about this line of things, I would have like the removal of implied rights of access put up if you don't want anybody coming. Right, it could be for anything as well. Now, I have never paid what do you call the thing, TV license for a long time, but and I was just reading these other people had like done these letters and stuff like that, and I thought I should write them one just to, you know, and it was telling them that I don't support people who support paedophilia, for starters, and stuff like that. I think I might have shared it in the group what I had sent off to them, but you know, and on that letter as well, I had actually wrote on that of removing your implied rights of access to my property, noted the property address down and everything like that, and they responded saying, you know, we accept that you've removed your the implied rights of access. So they accepted that. So, you know, we won't come anywhere near your property, but we do have. They use the term, and it was like, you know, these are not intrusive, like methods, you know what I mean? So I mean, I know back in the day they had the vans that went around with the thing on top, you know. So maybe that's what it is, and trying to like pick up signals. You know, I don't know, but it doesn't matter, because I mean, I'm not even actually lying, because I don't watch television, and definitely wouldn't have any BBC on it. But we've got a television because we use it to watch YouTube and watch that type of stuff, you know, and that's what I do. But, you know, so I'm not actually lying. I wouldn't care if I was, but I'm not. But so they're not going to get any signal or anything. But so they acknowledged it from Nebraska as well. It's everywhere. It's brilliant. And Ireland, look at that, man. London, cool. But I'm going to go over like a few different things about the police, and also, you know, well, the clowns in costumes. And I was like, the way that I was speaking to a guy in Australia, and he actually sets himself as the Organic Commonwealth of Australia or something like that, because it's talking about, obviously, once they've set up the government, which was like the Australian government, and it got rid of the Australian constitution, and it's a corporation, it's a company. We know this, right? All of these governments, they're just simply not governments whatsoever. Hopefully most of you will know this, but it is a private limited company for profit, as is all of the courts in the country, as is every single police force as well. That's what they call themselves, a police force, but they are all private limited companies. I don't know if I've actually wrote this in here, but what I am actually going to write a notice to my local police chief, telling them that obviously I understand, no, I don't understand, that I comprehend that you are not actually a government agency, that you are a private limited for-profit company registered on Duns and Bradstreet, and the registration number, which I do have somewhere, and I'll write it to him, and which is what I would also read out. And they actually, Northumbria, that's the one that where I live, and they actually put it up, their annual turnover, 1.6 million. That's the annual turnover in sales. That's how they put it. All right. So you should go into Duns and Bradstreet for wherever you live in any part of the country, because it's the world, because it's a worldwide thing, and find out what your police force, your local police, whatever it would be in whichever country, and find out, you know, what their turnover is, and find out what their registered address is and what the company number is. And this is what you can quote to them, you know, knowing that it's a private, limited, for-profit company. So they're not an agency of a government, you know. So all of these like compartmentalized things coming down from the top are all limited companies, all in their own way. Anglesey, I love Anglesey. I used to serve on island class patrol boats when I was in the Royal Navy back in the 80s, and I was on HMS Alderney, from the Alderney Channel Islands. So we went there, like, you know, played football with the local team in Alderney, and got very drunk afterwards in the football bar. I can't remember most of the rest of the day then, but that was good though at the time. All right, so like, just what should I do about signatures? I've been asked to fill out forms for work. What do you mean for work? I think that the limited companies are purely for-profit limited companies. That's exactly what they are. But as a signature, well, you know, I had showed somebody like, yeah, I do my autograph. I don't do a signature. I do an autograph, and I do it in red, and I do it lowercase in red with colons as well to make it a noun. So, you know, that's how I would do an autograph. Okay. But like I say, I was just talking, firstly, I'm talking about, like, because most people, I've been getting a lot of messages, you know, like, you know, worried about what to say and anything. And this is part of what we've wrote in the legal notice and demand that I've given to most people, what they've sent off for to correct their status in sovereignty. We put them under caution, even the Queen, with the legal notice and demand, and that's part of this. So we caution straight away, you know. Now, the thing is, they think they can do anything that they want, right? They think they don't have to worry about rules, they don't have to worry about regulations, and also, you know, and I'm telling you now, because I dealt with the councils and everything, like when they shut us down last time, they think you can't do anything to them personally, and you can. Everybody under motu proprio can be held personally responsible and liable for their own personal actions. All right. So they, you know, because the woman that she's been horrible from like the council, and we're going to like close you all down, and I'm going to get this certificate and that and all this stuff she was saying. And you know, she's, and I says, well, look, you know, I'm going to be pressing charges. She's like, well, you can't do anything to me. You can just take the council to court. You know, that's not the case. Okay, it is not the case. You can do it personally, and you hold them personally liable under their own personal actions. Okay, so I'm going to read. Like I say, this is I'm going to put this up in the group, or at least on my site, so you can download it, and I would like laminate it, and just you can read it out to them. So, you know, now bits of it that I've got are in brackets, but you know, and it's just explaining some things to you, okay, that then you don't say that bit to them, if you know what I mean. Okay, so I would say straight away, if anyone, if it was my gym and they come into my gym, right, I'm going to tell them straight away, you're now under caution. Tell you what, I'm going to put my glasses on to read it out. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defense if you do not mention, when questioned, something which you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. I need to point out to you the words from your very own Chief Executive of the College of Policing, Chief Constable Alex Marshall. In 1829, Sir Robert Peel set out the model of an unarmed constable patrolling on behalf of their community as a citizen in uniform. This connection between the police and the public is encapsulated in the phrase, the police are the public and the public are the police. Peel's principles focus heavily on the importance of public support and emphasize the need for the police to secure and maintain public respect. This code of ethics remains true to the founding principles of British policing and highlights the responsibility of those of us who work in policing to behave in a manner most likely to win the trust and support of fellow citizens. Fellow citizens, I inform you that as a living, breathing, flesh and blood man of the public, that I am also the police. Hence, I will be acting in a manner to protect people and property from crime and criminal acts performed by any persons, including yourself. You are already under caution, and I will arrest you if you act unlawfully against anyone or anyone's property, including myself. Force can and will be used to carry out my responsibilities only to the extent that is necessary, proportionate, and reasonable in the circumstances. Please listen to your Police Code of Conduct in line with the Police Act 1996, Code of Ethics, Section 3.1.1. These standards reflect the expectations that professional body and the public have of the behaviour of those working in policing. They originate from the Police Conduct Regulations 2012 for police officers and the Police Staff Council Joint Circular 54. Number 1, honesty and integrity. I will be honest and act with integrity at all times and will not compromise or abuse my position. Number 2, authority and courtesy. I will act with self-control and tolerance, treating members of the public and colleagues with respect and courtesy. I will use my powers and authority lawfully, proportionately, and will respect the rights of individuals. Number 3, equality and diversity. I will act with fairness and impartiality. I will not discriminate unlawfully or unfairly. Number 4, use of force. I will only use force as part of my role and responsibilities and only to the extent that is necessary, proportionate, and reasonable in all the circumstances. Number 5, orders and instructions. I will, as a police officer, give and carry out lawful orders only and will abide by police regulations. Lawful orders only. It doesn't say legal there, all right? It says lawful. Okay. Standards of professional behavior. I will give reasonable instructions only and will follow all reasonable instructions. Confidentiality. I will treat information with respect and access or disclose it only in the proper course of my duties. Number 9, conduct. I will behave in a manner, whether on or off duty, that does not bring discredit on the police service or undermine public confidence in policing. Number 10, challenging and reporting improper behavior. I will report, challenge, or take action against the conduct of colleagues which has fallen below the standards of professional behavior. That's the Police and Criminal Evidence Act 1984 Codes of Practice. Epaulets. It's a one thing with the names on, all right? Epaulets must have the correct identifying letters and numbers and or insignia of rank and must be worn on the outermost garment. They must be visible at all times. Name badges. You must wear a name badge on the outermost garment of your uniform. If no names are visible, ask for the names before proceeding. The Police and Criminal Evidence Act 1984 and the Police Act 1996 are very clear, and you must make yourself known at all times when dealing with the general public. If you fail to do so, you are acting unlawfully and you are trespassing. I formally request you make yourself known. Now, they have to make themselves known, Okay, so you see it all the time now when they're getting what is your name, and they won't give you your name. They must make themselves known. That is their code, and it's got the acts and the codes there that you can actually quote to them. Okay, all right. So if they still refuse to make themselves known, you are now committing trespass against me and my property. You are an unauthorized person acting in a suspicious manner. You must leave or you will face arrest. Now, if they still leave, you can either arrest them yourself, okay, or you can even dial 999. You can dial 999 and call the police on the police. If they're acting unlawfully and illegally, that's both sides of the coin, okay? All right. Now, if they make themselves known, if they do give the name, right, then you will continue. Now, this is for my police force up here, all right, for my area. But you should discover this yourself. Go on to dunsandbradstreet.com and find out all of the limited companies that are working in your area, okay? But I'm talking about Northumbria. Right. You are a private employee of a private for-profit limited company, namely Northumbria Police Authority, registered in Company's House under address Middle Engine Lane, Wallsend, NE28 9NT, and DS company number 365226955, citing an annual turnover of 1.6 million in sales. You have no authority here. You have no consent, tacit or otherwise. No contract, no jurisdiction. You have not been summoned, so you are dismissed and you are free to leave. If you refuse to leave, any and all actions that you take will be under motu proprio, and you are liable in your capacity as a private person under full commercial liability. No costume or uniform can protect you. I had to put costume bit in there. Can protect you from any unlawful acts that you perform today. You have no consent and you have no contract. You have no corpus delicti. Therefore, no man or woman can claim I have trespassed against them. Therefore, there is no crime I have committed. You are now trespassing against me, a private man, and against my property. You will be held responsible under motu proprio with full commercial liability in your private and personal capacity. Do you understand? Okay, now that is how I would actually talk to them. That is what I would get that laminated, and I would have that near where you were, wherever you're actually going to be dealing with these people. Okay, now you can read that out, like if you were getting visited by the police, or even if you were like bumping into them in one way or another. You know what I'm saying? But that I'm going to put up onto the what do you call it, the big group, but also on the website, so you can just download it, and I can do it so that you can even edit it. Also put it up on the Word, and I'll do the share file from Google Documents or whatever it's called, whatever it is. Anyway, you see, you know what I mean. So you can put your like area police force in. You don't want to use the Northumbria one, but that there is true. Look. Okay, they are the Northumbria Police Authority Limited, registered in Company's House and under the address Middle Engine Lane. And they actually cite on their annual turnover of 1.6 million in sales. So if that was there to serve the public, what are they doing at putting up a 1.6 million in sales? I mean, that's just insanity. It's complete fraud. These people are private limited companies, or they're private employees of a private limited for-profit company. So they can't be expected, but the thing is, most people don't know, but they can't be expected to go in and start ordering you around and telling you what to do, you know, under any circumstances. And the thing is, right, we're talking about being sovereign. Being sovereign is in here and in here. It isn't just like, you know, stating it on the forms, or although you should actually be stating it on the forms. You know, you see these people there down today in London. Someone has just shared a video, and they were like, "Oh, you'll never walk alone." Must be, is it like Trafalgar Square they're at? And I'm sure I could only see a tiny screen. It was David Icke, I'm sure, and he was like singing, but it was the proper song in the background. When you say all them people there, and then the other month, and there was like they reckon the numbers around 2 million that marched through London. Okay, so and you can tell by the amount of news coverage that it all got. You know, all of the news channels were completely blocked, like slammed. You couldn't see anything except look at all them people marching. Yeah, right. Those people there, obviously, I can't talk to them, but can you imagine if we just done that? That group of people went home, filled in that legal notice and demand, sent it off to their packs to the Sinister Seven, although the ones I've done today was, I think there was 8 of them in the Republic of Ireland and not 7 names, but whatever it is, and sent them all off and said, look, we're sovereign, we're not under you, we're not getting affected by acts and statutes, which are like all of these things that they're coming out with. Right. And I know that you get tons and tons of fear porn coming up and they're saying, like, you know, they're going to put you in this prison camp. They're going to do this to you. You know, you by their acts, right, you can't protest anymore. By this act, you can't do this. By this act, you can't do that. If you declare yourself sovereign and you are evidenced as sovereign, i.e., you've sent off your legal notice and demand. Okay. And it's been... got your thing on, okay? So you sent this off to like the 7. This is the big pack, the legal notice and demand, but you also have the other ones as well, right? The hold harmless agreement and everything. You send them off to the people who tell you to do it, and then, right, at 30 days and they haven't responded and they haven't rebutted any of the affidavits, because it is an affidavit, it's got all the different points in there, then you send off the acceptance letter. Thank you very much for accepting the fact that I am sovereign and that I am an untaxed man, or woman, and that I will always be peaceful. I'm not going to harm anyone, but then I don't come under acts and statutes. All right. And then as soon as you've done that, okay, you've done that, then you do the acceptance. Okay. I'm just going to quickly have a look in here and make sure I'm keeping up. Northumbria does cover Tyne and Wear, yeah. It's a massive area, Northumbria Police. I think it goes down Durham and everything. The headquarters used to be in Durham. They used to have the training in Durham. Can't remember what you call it now. But they used to have the headquarters in Durham, but it covers from like right down to North Yorkshire border, right? Not in North Yorkshire, but on that border, right up, all the way up. To the borders of Scotland. It's a huge area. Going back there. Okay. What was I saying? Right. So, like, you know, imagine all them people have done that and all becoming sovereign and then making, like, you know, like, this is our commonwealth. This is our organic commonwealth. Okay, so we're not going to be under the United Kingdom. This is written capitals. It's written in capitals. That is a corporation. That is where the false, fraudulent stuff comes into it. We need to be of the organic commonwealth of, even if it is the United Kingdom, but it's written in lowercase and it's us that's running it and we're all sovereign citizens. Okay, that is what, and all of them people there, you know, if we got all of them to do it, I don't know how you can do that. But that's what we should be doing. And then when they go home, make sure they're not paying the TV license, because I know a lot of them still will be, you know, and they shouldn't be paying the council tax. And then like they shouldn't be paying the utility bills, which are all prepaid anyway. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the 1099 process remedy for the people that are sovereign, all right, which I'm going to do in a little bit. But I'm just saying about like the kind of impact that we have to have, all right? And also, like, again, don't be so worried about all these acts and statutes that they're bringing out. You know, I know that they've got the new Criminal Act thing, or I don't know what the proper name of it was. I do listen and pay attention, but like at the same time, it's in my head. That doesn't apply to me, so I don't care. Do you understand what I'm saying, or do you comprehend what I'm saying? So when they're saying, like, you know, if they're, what do they call it? Undercover, for instance, they can do anything they want, like rape, murder, take drugs, like, you know, kidnap people. That's what they can do, all right? And they can commit any crime they want as long as they're on the job, right? And they're like undercover on there. Isn't that great? But like, you know, people were like panicking and say, oh, you know, like this is terrible and all of this, right? But like it's an act. It's an act of Parliament, and these acts of Parliament only can affect you if you consent to it. Now, I don't mean, right, by walking around and saying, I consent or I do not consent, because they assume consent. Tacit consent, they assume it. So we have to declare it's not. Okay, that's why you have to talk to them. That's why you have to do this. So I have to send the legal notice and demand off with the hold harmless agreement and security agreement. And then once they don't rebut it, and you've sent it to the Queen, and you know that when I'm reading it out and saying you're under caution, you know, that's what we even send to the Queen as well. Okay, and to the other Sinister Seven. All right, put them under caution and tell them that we are claiming our sovereignty, that we're not dead at sea. Now, remember as well, when I say it, we say we're not dead at sea because there's two parts of it. Now, everybody, this is still coming down the acts of Parliament and the statutes. Everybody always talks about the Set the KV Act 1666. Okay, it's the one that most people remember, and it's still on the statute books. It hasn't disappeared, and they say, oh, it doesn't matter. Hey, there isn't a single thing in this planet that doesn't matter. If that's an act that's on the acts and statutes of Parliament, then it does matter. It matters to them very much so, and it is a huge trust. That was in 1666, but there was one before it in 1540, and that was done by Henry VIII. And who helped him? Who helped Henry VIII? I did say this the other week. All right, it was the Venetians. The Venetians, right? They helped get that third crown, the Convocation crown, and gave it to Henry VIII. And he used that to set up the first, in the UK I'm on about, first Set the KV Act, which is in 1540. So not 1666. So when he set that up, right, he split from Rome. That's it. They all say, oh, it's because he wanted to get divorced. It was nothing to do with that. He wanted to run the whole of England under him. He was God's appointed representative on earth. That's what he was saying. He wanted all that land. The richest, he wasn't rich compared to the church. So he took it all from the church. He took all the land, right? He took all of the wealth. He took all of the gold. I mean, these people had massive estates. Massive estates, and all these people that were like slaves on the estate basically were working for the church. So they had the orchards, right? They had the plantations, they had all of the crops, they had the animals. All of this was all owned by the church. How ridiculous is this? But he wanted it, so he actually set up the first Set the KV Act in 1540, and he took it all, right? He broke from Rome, and that's when he set up the Church of England, and they were like Protestant compared to like protesting against the Roman Catholics. So when they said you were dead at sea, which is the Set the KV Act, right? What you had to prove is that you were not dead at sea or at sea. SEA, at sea, being dead. SEE, underneath the Roman Catholic Pope. So you had to tell them not only were you not drowned, but you also weren't a Catholic. All right. So you've got to like bear this in mind. This is like, you know, very, very complicated. But we don't have to worry too much about that. But I'm just telling you, right, how this actually came about. Whereas everyone talks about like the 1666 one, where we had the Great Fire of London, which everyone thinks was, well, if you believe your history and what you're told, some poor guy called Thomas Fainall, who was a baker in Pudding Lane, got blamed for setting London on fire. That was set on fire on purpose, you know, might have been set, you know, in his shop, but it was done on purpose, and it was a great Babylonian sacrifice. Okay, we're talking about like these people that have been around for centuries that are running the thing right now. The Venetians, okay, but there was the Venetians that actually helped him get that crown when he set it up, and that's when he took all of the land and everything was put into a trust, okay, into a trust. So that was like an express trust, I think, that one. And he said that everything belonged to him, right, and all of the land, and he was like the owner and trustee of the land. Not the owner, the trustee of the land, until you actually came forward to say that you weren't dead at sea, and then you could have your land. Because we all should have the rights to the land, whichever where you're born, be it Canada, New Zealand, Australia, or the United Kingdom. The organic land, we should have the rights to be on it, to live on it, but they took it away with them Seta KV acts, and also the bulls that I spoke about before, the papal bulls, and the Unum Sanctum was the first one in 1312, I think it was. But that's what I'm saying. So what we have to do is break that by stating our sovereignty, by actually stating it that we are sovereign to these people. All right. Yeah, exactly. Yes, the USA, it is still slaves of the British. Everybody in the USA, I have a lot of discussions with them about Independence Day on the 4th of July. Like, you know, there wasn't any independence won. You know, the whole thing was just like a massive big scam. If you look at everything that we've went through, all the big wars, it's just a depopulation program. But there was no what do you call it, independence won, and everything is the whole thing is just run and it's all run. It was through Britain, but it's not British kind of thing, right? Because it comes from the Crown Corporation. And when we're talking about the Crown Corporation, which is where, right, in 1540, they gave the Venetians organized it for Henry VIII to get that crown, the Convocation crown. But then what they've done is, I can't remember the other date, 1814. Yeah, 1814. That's when they took the crown off of the British monarchy, because obviously Henry wasn't around then, but that was, you know, it was given to him. But they took it off the monarchy and awarded the Convocation crown to the City of London. The City of London being its own state and you know, its own country inside of London, that square mile. Okay, so it's all run from there. That there in the City of London, you have the Temple Bar, which was the church, the chapel, the Temple Bar. It is the only place in the whole of our planet, plane, world, whatever shape you think it is. I'm not, you know, whatever it is. Okay, it's the only place there that is above, legally above, the Vatican. Everything else is underneath the Vatican in realms of importance, Washington DC included. But the Temple Bar, that chapel or church or whatever it would be, all right, that is the only bit of land in the whole of the world that is above the Vatican in terms of importance, and it just can never ever pay tax or anything. And that's where the legal realm comes from. All right, the bar, that stands for British Accredited Registration. So all of these attorneys that are in the US, you know, Dimebag, you're talking about that there, right? They're all British. All of those attorneys in the USA, if they're under the bar, they're sworn to the temple, right? Then they are British. They actually have a title. Now, I haven't got it here, but there's a part of the Constitution, the American Constitution, which comes from the Magna Carta of 1215, that states that no man is allowed to have a title from a foreign country, something along those lines. I can't remember exactly, you know, what it was, but all of these attorneys, if they are in the bar, the British Accredited Registry or registration, right, they have the title of Esquire. So it is a foreign title. So all of them are actually committing treason. So when they're representing the bar, because anybody, all attorneys, solicitors, right, in this country, or lawyers, whatever like country, however you call them, are all sworn to the court. They are all sworn to make money for that corporation. They're all private corporations. They're all for profit, right? So no matter who, I don't know if Jez is on here today or whatever, but I mean, you know, he's starting to learn that any of these solicitors or anything, doesn't matter who they say that they're helping, they're certainly not helping you. I mean, soliciting, it's a crime, isn't it? Soliciting, you can get put in jail for soliciting, something about sexual crimes or something like that, isn't it? Being soliciting on the streets, you know, so that's what they're doing. They're just soliciting money, all right? But they represent the Crown Corporation. So, don't get any solicitors to help you. They certainly will not be helping you. Well, anyway, hang on 2 seconds. Yeah, George Washington was a cousin of King George. Probably. I tell you what it is, they're all related. They're all blood related, and they're all put in line. I'm telling you what I'm going to do, because somebody had just asked the... let's have a look and read along here. I wanted to actually talk about driving and traveling, okay, and also who is the bar. I'm just going to read this out to you. So if I put that out to there, and then I come back in here, and I'm going to see if I can share my screen again. So share screen, window, and that one, share, and have a look at this. Okay, so this tells you what I'm just talking about there. Who is the bar? What or who is the bar? And who do they work for? What jurisdiction do they operate in? During the middle 1600s, the Crown of England established a formal registry in London where barristers were ordered by the Crown to be accredited. The establishment of this first international bar association allowed barrister lawyers from all nations to be formally recognised. Hang on, I'm going to get my glasses. Where are they? Yeah. Accredited by the only recognised accreditation society. From this, the acronym BAR was established, denoting informally the British Accredited Registry, whose members became a powerful and integral force in the International Bar Association. Okay, now I'm not going to read all of it down on here. The governmental and judicial systems within the United States of America at both federal and local state levels is owned by the Crown. Okay, which is a private foreign power. Before jumping to conclusions about the Queen of England or the royal families of Britain owning the USA, this is a different crown, and it's specifically referencing the established Templar Church, known for centuries by the world as the Crown. Okay, so basically, right, what I was just saying, just to back me up onto there, that the crown, you're talking about the convocation crown that the Venetians got for Henry VIII, and then eventually was passed on to the Temple Bar. That is the Crown Corporation. That is what runs the world, basically. So, hang on, I'm going to go back. Where am I now? I'm going to took that one off. And that one off. And that one off. Okay, so as well, let me have a look at this one. Because again, so what's these people that were asking loads of questions? All right. So come back in. I know I'm going to, I'll read this out rather than sharing the screen, because it's like a big thing. They were asking about the Venetians, okay, and where they come from, but also what the names were of the families. And I said I would put it up in a group, but I keep forgetting to actually write it up. But I'll read them out to you, okay? The names again. There they are. Okay, so give me a quick drink. So you got now, it's very, very biblical. Now, we're talking about like the Canaanites, all right, who became the Phoenicians, and then they became the Venetians, and they're under the 13 bloodline families or the black nobility, all right? So they run from Venice, run the Vatican. Now, the names are Farnese, Somaglia, Este, Conti, Chigi, Breakspear, Orsini, which is the main family. They're like the capo di tutti capo of everything. They are. They're Orsini. Medici, Borgia, Gattani, Pallavicini, Borghese, and Albrudini. That's the names of the 13 families. Now, the underneath these families, they all have like, it branches off into different names. Okay, hang on, I'm going to come back in here, and that's where you get a lot of the actual mafia, because it is just a mafia. All right, you get a lot of the mafia families that come underneath there, and that's all run the same thing. Now, if you imagine, all right, that you must have seen the films, and what they do in all these mafia films is they cut themselves and they put a bit of blood on the card, and it's got a picture of a saint on, and they burn it, and it's basically, you know, the swearing the life, all right, to the family, and it's exactly the same. There's no difference. All right, so these mafia families, and that's all this is. It's just like massive organized criminal family right the way, and it's running everything right down to your local council. Trying to think who, I think it was Jez who actually found that article, and where they've been investigating the council tax, and you know the amount of money that these people have been investing is incredible. They have excesses. Of like literally in the millions. So they're demanding all this council tax from people like us, and we're paying this council tax. It's not, and the stupid thing is, I've probably got one somewhere. They send a list out and say, "Oh, this is what it pays for." The police, they pay the police for this. They pay the lighting for this. To do the parks, you know, and the flowers, and you know, it's what a pile of crap. You know, this does not get spent on your town whatsoever. That's just ridiculous. Most of it goes to pensions, but they invest it. And it was like they were showing that they were investing in these companies, right? That 25 pence of every pound goes to making a cluster bomb that they're dropping on these places, you know, and killing innocent men, women, and children, right? 25 pence of every pound, you know. But they were showing the excess that they have, and it was like, if you just imagine this, right? Your local town, and it'll pay council tax, right? You personally, I don't know what it'd be, what between 1,000 and 2,000 a year, depends on where you live, right? But just say it's 1,000 for instance. So you pay, so like say that you got like, you know, 50,000 like collected that year. Their excess is in the millions that they've invested, and that they're actually making money on all the time. And these funds, so you know, they do not need to ask you for anything. The only reason that they have of asking you for money is to keep you pissed off. All right, is to help promote poverty, to keep us down, you know, and that's all it's for. And then they actually invest all this money, which is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and you know, they're just getting richer and richer and richer, and it's paying for all the pensions for all of the people that are like in the higher ones up in the councils. So, you know, I mean, it's absolutely insane. But, you know, which is a big reason why we don't want to be paying council tax. But it's more of a sovereignty thing than just saying, oh, can I become sovereign because like I can't be bothered with paying council tax anymore, don't like them, pissed off with them or whatever. You know, it's like, look, we're here to like be a movement to go against what is the massive corruption that we're facing, that we've always faced, but it's just getting bloody worse, isn't it? So I truly think that we've got a limited amount of time before we can actually do something, or we are probably all going to be in these FEMA camps. You know, we have to make sure that we're standing up and fighting properly now, and you know, we can fight with what we have, with our documents. You know, we can get it sworn, and then we can stand and be like, you know, we are sovereign. We don't come under your acts and statutes, and without consent, there is nothing that they can do. They know so little about. I'm talking about the clowns in costumes. This street level thug, right? They've got absolutely no idea of law whatsoever. Absolutely none. You know. Yeah, everything is working in commerce. Okay, absolutely everything. The it's you don't like, you don't have to be paying council tax. They've got just like billions more than what they ever need, and that fund itself will always keep growing, so that they really don't have to take anything from you whatsoever. You know, and it would all still be paid for if that was the actual if that was the actual case that you had to pay for your bins getting emptied. You know, I mean, God, they even make us pay for water. You know, it comes pouring out the skies. You know, and they're making you pay for it. And not only do they make you pay for it, they poison it. You know, so like it's absolutely nuts. I've got like loads of letters and everything that I've got from my local water company because I refused to pay them. You know, and somebody came around the other day. He looked terrified. He was walking up and down the street. I only got a little street. There's only about 10 houses or something in the street, and he was like going backwards and forwards like that. And you know, and I was just watching him, and he went and lifted up, you know, those little drainy things there that's got the water stopcocks in. He lifted a couple of people's up, and I was like watching him. I was in my front garden. I think I must have been doing something on my car, and then and then just eventually he must have got the courage, and he walked up and he went, "Oh," gave me a little card. He says, "This is for your meter reading." And just, you know, to put the way, I just looked at it, ripped it up and put it in my pocket, and he just walked away, like ignoring me. The funny. Talking about water as well, garden water. I've just got myself one of them huge big water butts, they're called. So it collects the water for you, and then I've just bought a water distiller, so you can put it in and it actually what do you call it? It cleans the water. It doesn't matter how dirty it is. And if it poisons me and kills me, I'm going to come after Andrew Middleton because he told me it cleaned all the dirtiest water possible. All right. So I've got one. So now you get the water, you put it in there, and it distills it. So you can get rainwater, and it'll actually make it clean for drinking. Okay. So I do want to actually talk a little bit about trusts, but I also want to talk about a little bit about the 1099 process that we're going through, because another friend of mine I was talking to, and hopefully going to be going on Zoom with tomorrow, and they're talking about like remedy, like talking about getting remedy by doing your sovereignty status. Okay, the remedy. What we mean by remedy is these funds. Somebody actually sent me a message saying, what I want you to talk about tonight is like, where's all the gold and where am I going to get it from? How do I actually get it? You know, but these funds, what happens when it's true and it's not true? Okay, it's not as straightforward as that. But when you're born, okay, and these people get your poor parents who don't know any better to register you under the Births and Deaths Register Act. I can't remember the year now. It was early 1900s. And what they wanted was everyone to be registered there. Now, what they did was, that is just a recording of the entry into the register. Okay. But the actual real birth certificate, they created themselves. And with that birth certificate, they created it as a monetary unit for a bond. Now, they actually stick those bonds together and group them together as securities, and then turn them into, well, they give them CUSIP numbers. All right. So if you look at a CUSIP number, CUSIP, this is what gets traded on the stock exchange. Okay. So now these funds make millions and millions. All right. And that part is true. But it's not, so you can't, now there is some sites out there that will confuse you and say, oh, look, like this bond's worth like, 2 million quid. I want it. It's not yours. Someone's bought it. They sell these bonds all the time. We actually traced them, and Janine's was bought hundreds of times. Lots of Chinese people bought her. But you can't just go and take the funds off because they don't belong to you. So we're talking about remedy, right? And the remedy would be how you actually get access to these funds. Now, I've shown you a lot of people how to do it on the A for V, or accept for value, where we actually turn the bill itself that they've sent you into a money order and then return it to them, and how to do it, and how to make it into a trust. So you do the fiduciary appointment, and that's how we actually put them in as the fiduciary trustee. And if you have done that course with me, and if you have got that paperwork, I've added a couple of little lines on. You should check it out, where it's basically making sure that they know that they have that fiduciary duty and that they can't just turn around and ignore it. All right, that they have to perform their duty by that. I don't want to go too long about it. I was talking about it the other day about make sure that you're ready to fight for it. Plenty of people have, and plenty of people are ready to even go to court with it. And you get your paperwork, your affidavits, and make sure that you keep a good record of everything. But I'm busy right now doing this 1099 process. Now I've got tons of paperwork on it. Now, this isn't the paperwork. I'm just showing you this now. What I'm doing is the first time that you can do this, you can go back 3 years and you can claim all the money back, which is what they call abandoned funds. So you can claim that all back for 3 years. After 3 years, the banks have took that money. So that's what happens. The banks actually take that money. So this is, I'm just going through all of the bank accounts and I'm ticking off all of the transactions because they have to be 100% exact. Okay, so then I'm cross-referencing it and I'm printing it off. The guy used to be a bank manager who actually was helping. So you just get one of these things. So when you type it in and it prints it off and it prints it like one of them old-fashioned things, although this is electronic, but you know what I mean. I've seen them before, when they do it and they roll it like that, or they pull a handle and it goes up and the next one goes up. Okay, this one is obviously a little bit more advanced than that. But anyway, this is what we class as real remedy, because you're talking about major amounts of money compared to doing an A for V for a couple of £100 on a gas bill or something like that. The 1099, it is an IRS tax form, but it is not about tax, and it is not. And the IRS, they're not a United States government agency. They are, and there's if you look at it on the HMRC, right, Her Majesty's Revenue, whatever it's called, they are not an agency, a government agency either. They are a private limited company, and I think there's something like 27 private limited companies in the UK of HMRC. So it's a group, and there's 27 different private, and they're all private for profit corporations. Okay. And so is the IRS, but that's just much bigger. And it's not based in the United States. It's based in Puerto Rico. All the money from HMRC or Australia or wherever it is, it all goes to Puerto Rico. It all goes eventually to the IRS. They tax the world, right? But it's not about tax. It's about money going through your bank account. You have to have a bank account. All right, that's one stipulation. This is what it's about. And it's 1099 OID, original issuer discount. What does that mean? You are the source of all credit. Now, the United Kingdom, right, that has been bankrupt since 1815. All right, it was bankrupted by the Rothschilds all the way back then. And he did it by tricking everybody on how to sell all his stocks and shares, because he was at he wasn't, but he had messengers at the Battle of Waterloo. And when you could see obviously that the British were going to be winning, but he sent messages flying back like that saying, oh, the British are going to be winning. But he started selling all his stocks and shares, making everyone panic, thinking that Napoleon was winning. Napoleon won the war. So all of a sudden, we're all going to be back to speaking French, because, we all did, after 1066, all the nobility was all French, and for hundreds and hundreds of years. But anyway, so what they've done is they were all panicking, watching him sell all his shares. So they started selling them. So what happens to the price? The price plummets down like that till it's virtually nothing. So he bought everything. He owned England. All right. So that's how he bankrupted the actual country, England. So ever since then, but in 1933, they did the same with the United States. okay? And they had the House Joint Resolution 192. Now, under this here, all right, then the there's no money. There's no such thing as money. It's not real. Because before that time, everything was backed by gold or silver. And you used to use gold and silver for money and for bartering and everything else like that. So when they had these these notes issued, they were a promissory note, £10 note, £20 note. It's not money, all right? It's a promissory note. You promise to pay. So it was supposed to be backed by gold, but it no longer was, because in America they stole it all, didn't they? They took it all off everyone. You got something like a $10,000 fine and went to prison if you kept your gold. And that was in the 1933. I mean, wow, that's a big chunk of change, isn't it? So because of that, this is why two things for on our utilities, they're all paid for, right? All prepaid for, because of these acts and what they did with the money, because there is no money, all right? There is only debt certificates or debt notes. But they created this 1099 original issue at discount. So what the original issue is when you create the finance. Let's take it as is. For instance, if you go and do a bank loan and you sign that agreement you've just signed, there's two things you sign. You sign a promissory note, so you created the money. You created the credit, not the bank. The bank didn't give you a dime, a penny, right? Your signature, sign of nature on that promissory note created that credit. That credit then is deposited into their account and they put it into your account. All right. You are now the original issuer. You understand? Or do you understand? All right. Do you get it? Do you comprehend it? You create the finance. You are the original issuer. Now, it's the same with your bank. Now, this is what we're talking about. This is our remedy. Now, I'm going to live this. I'm going to prove this. All right. So you'll be able to see me do it, and I'll either win or lose. I'll either completely lose all my money, and you'll think, well, what a dipstick he is, right? Or I'll get it right, and I'll get the money, and then everyone else can copy. So I'm going to be the guinea pig. I'm going to do it for you. Win, lose, or draw. I'm going to do it for you. Obviously, I'm hopefully going to win, and then I'll explain about it. But what happens is, and it can be your obviously a check. So if you write a check, I can't remember the last time I seen one, but so if you write a check, that's you are the original issuer. You have created that credit, right? But it's the same with a direct debit. It's the same with a standing order. It's the same with your card, your bank card. So you pay for your shopping, your food, your shoes, your clothes, the restaurant, right? The movies. You pay with your card. You have created that credit. All right. Now, whatever's created has to do full circle and come back, because it has to come back to the original issuer. So, but nobody told us. Nobody explained this. Yeah, you get that bit. So what happens is you in your it doesn't forget about what's paid in, all right? Don't care about that. It's what you get paid out. So if it's a direct debit, paying your mortgage, or a standing order, paying your mortgage, paying your electric bill, gas bill, water bill. We're just talking about it, right? This is why if this works, I'm just going to pay all the bills. I don't care anymore, right? But if I get remedy, and that's my sovereignty remedy coming back to me as the original issuer. So the again, what would it be? But food, well, you can do it for credit cards as well, right? So if I actually had 3 bank accounts and a credit card, I can do every single account I've got. You don't just do your one bank account, okay? So you can do 2 or 3 accounts as long as it's in your name, and the credit card as long as it's in your name. Makes no difference. But you have to do different forms for every account. So you have to do this for every account, and you have to do the 1099 forms. Now, don't go Googling the 1099 forms. Don't get anything. And if somebody sends you them saying, "Oh, this is one, I found this online," and send it to you, it's not real, right? The only way you can get them is by ordering them from the IRS in the United States. And there's only about 3 or 4 offices in the whole of the United States that do the 1099 forms, because not all of the tax offices handle 1099. There's only a few, right? It's very specialized subject. So you get these triplicate, right? So there's 1, 2, 3, right? And it's old fashioned where you have to type it in or write it in, but it is typed and it carbonates through the copies. That is the only way you can do a 1099 form. So if anyone tells you anything different, sends you something different, oh, I've got one online, it's not real. You know, they might think it is. It might even be a printed copy of one that's online, but it is not. The only way to do them is triplicate. It's the only way that they will accept them. You make a single mistake, they will reject your application and fine you $5,000. All right. So you can claim back everything except cash withdrawals. So if you go to the hole in the wall, you stick your card in, get 200 quid out, $200 out, whatever it would be, you can't claim that back, right? If you transfer a lump sum of money from your account to another of your accounts, it's you're not issuing it, you're giving it to you, so you're not issuing credit. Does that make sense? So you can't claim that back. You buy your shopping with your card, it's an electronic signature. Right, it's electronic signature. It doesn't matter that you didn't like sign of nature. That to their eyes, right, is an electronic one. You can claim it back. Going to the restaurant, claim it back. Paying with your card, claim it back. Your mortgage payment every single month, claim it back. All right. So I know that mortgage is fraud, and I know that we can fight the system. But if you get remedy, they provide you with the remedy. And you get that money back, even though it's fraudulent at the beginning, you get it returned. That's getting very glary, isn't it? Sun's coming around. This is down a bit there. There we go. So we have the sunrise over there, over the sea. The sea's right on this side of the house. And then we'll go over that side, and there's all the countryside over on that side. You get the sunset there. It's beautiful. Oh, I don't like that. That's better. So that's that light. That's that light that makes the thing go funny. That's what that is. Hopefully, I'll not be on too much longer. I'll keep this a bit lighter. It's all right like that. You can still see me, can't you? Anyway, right. The on there, right, with the issuance, the original issuer discount, anything that you've done on that bank statement that is a normal withdrawal, be it like, what do you call it, like paying for anything whatsoever, paying your tax bill if you're self-employed, paying your tax bill, all right? So imagine, I mean, I actually run like a gym, but I don't use a business account for it. You don't have to. There's no law that says you have to have a separate business account. I just do everything through there. So we buy a lot of stock in, like, because the way that we work is when you join, you get, like, it's a martial arts gym. So you get your uniform, you get boxing gloves. So I buy them all. I've got them branded. I've got our logo on. You know, I don't just get anyone's gloves. Or our uniform, which is a t-shirt and shorts. If you've ever seen Thai boxers or MMA, you've seen that. So it's like ours. It's got our logo on the shorts, our logo on the t-shirts, our logo on the gloves. And I buy it all from a manufacturer, and I have to use what do you call it? I transfer the money. So that transfer, that's like, as long as it's not transferring to my account, transferring to a separate account, that counts. So I mean, all the equipment that I've bought, you know, I can claim all of that money back. The all of the advertising that I'm doing, like you can't do newspaper advertising nowadays, can you? It's rubbish. So you have to use something like Facebook or Instagram, that type of thing. And it's expensive. So I can claim all of that back. All right. I go buy food. I go to get a takeaway. I go to the pub or a bar, right, and use my card to like go pay for my drinks. You know, I don't really go to bars or, you know, but I mean, if you did, right, that you can claim. So you imagine there, or that year, how much you've spent in all that year. Now you can go back 3 years. So say in that 3-year period, right, then you can claim all of that back for that 3 years. You can't go back any further than 3 years because the banks have took the money. After 3 years, they claim that money that issued money that you issued, they claim it as abandoned funds and they take it. So just think of the amount of money that they've got. Just think of like all of us, right, multiplied by millions, right, all over the world that have never been claiming that money back, and the banks have just been getting richer and richer. Just imagine that. That's why they've got them buildings that you see. It's just like enormous. Do you know, it's just insanity, right? But anyway, so let's just think of that money. So like over the 3 years on mine, right? So you have to pay whatever it is. Let's just say it's like 100,000, just for ease of mathematics. You have to pay 25% of that to the IRS. Now you can't complain because you didn't even know about this, and you didn't know that you could get this money back. So you're going to get given 75,000. You know, and I multiply that by like 3 years. All right. Now here's where it gets really good as well, though. Right. Okay. I've worked mine out. So over the 3 year period, and the way I'm doing it, because I'm paying somebody to do it, because I'm experimenting, I want to know how it's going to work, right? So I'm paid someone like a lot. I haven't paid. I've had to pay $3,000 to get things going for the course as well, for all the work, for my knowledge that I've got, which I'll learn how to do the forms, so I'll not have to rely on someone else. Right. And the reason why I don't want to rely on someone else, it's not I'm lazy. So what if he died yesterday? Then what? You know, I've lost all of that potential. So I need to know how to do it myself. So you need to know how to do it yourself. You can't rely on anyone else. But here, right, I'm going to get, after I've paid all the fees and I pay the 25% to the IRS, then, and it's classed as a donation, by the way, I'm going to end up with about £160,000 sterling. Now, that £160,000, okay, when you get it in a US check. So you have to have a US bank account to deposit in, apparently. You can deposit in your own, but they reckon that the exchange rate is ridiculous and you lose far too much money. I don't really understand it. They say get a US bank, then you put that check in the US bank, and apparently you get a better rate if you transfer it. All right, that's just what I've been told. But anyway, just say that you get the money and you got it in your bank account. That £160,000, I have to make sure I spend. I should get that back before the end of this year. And their year, by the way, runs. It's not stupid like ours. They run it from January to December. Normal, 12 months. It's only in the UK they've run it like March or something stupid like that. So you have to spend it by the end of that year. You spend it by the end of that year, right? That is, and you make sure it goes through your bank. Don't go spend cash, right? There, once you've actually spent it, you can claim it back again the next year. So say I've got the 160,000 plus whatever I've actually spent on the expense, like my normal spending for the last 12 months. All right. So say it's like 160 plus 30. So there's like, just rounded up to 200,000. I claim 200,000 back the next year. So then, right, next year, I'm claiming back the 200,000, right? So just say that that's what I get. Then I make sure I spend that 200,000 the following year. So I spend it again, buy lands, invest in gold and silver, do it, but make sure it goes through your bank. You claim that back plus your normal expenses. So 230. So it goes up. So then again, the next year, it's gone to 230,000 that you're claiming back, plus the 30 that your living expenses, 260,000. So it goes up and up and up. Your actual income will be going up every single year. This is the remedy that was provided for you because they took all the money away. This is there for you as the original issuer discount. So this can be done. Now, I was watching this, I don't know what it was, documentary. This, do you know what it is? I can't remember the name, but I've heard this name before. It's like, it's a name you should know if you're dealing in this type of thing. It's a person that you would know. It is a good wage to have coming in every year, and you don't have to, work. Your work is going to be doing whatever you want to do. All right. But like I say, this is the experiment. So I'm going to make sure that I do all. I'm going to pay this expert. It's a lot of money I have to pay him. It's a percentage. And I'm talking, the money I'm looking at getting, that 160,000, that's after I've paid them. Okay. Because they get a percentage of whatever I get. So I've paid the 3,000. That's just to get it. Well, it's 2 different courses, that is, by the way, but on there, right, if you get that money back, now, when I'm saying if, it's like I'm saying I'm going to do it, and I know I will, and it'll work, but then you'll all have proof that it works. It's not some pie in the sky. Do you understand? Right? It's like, so once it's been done, you're never going to have to think, oh, I want to do that A for V now. If you're working on it, I'm going to pay, go up, all the work and just be chasing after sort of a 70 quid, what do you call it, phone bill, or a 70 quid gas bill, or a little bit of a water bill. You're not going to bother, because you can get that all back in a big lump like that. That is the real remedy. And that's, and the thing is, this is where, there's my little doggy coming up. Oh, my big one, you had a drink. It's all dribbling water out there. That's the boxer one. That's the naughty one. She bites you. Well, not me, but other people. What was I saying? All right. So what you have to do this, you have to register yourself with the IRS. Okay. So you have to register for an EIN, Employment Identification Number. And I've done this already. I've been on the phone and I've done it all already. Now, then I've also ordered the 1099 forms, and I had to ring Austin in Texas, the IRS in Austin, Texas. There's only a few offices deal with this. It's very specialized. So we got the office. I was on for 1 hour, 22 minutes to get these forms, and I've done 3 years. And I've only done one account, because my credit card account, I actually pay for it via this account. So I'm claiming it back, the same thing. So I've just left it on that one account. So I've got 10 forms for every year, right? Because you can't make a mistake. Now, even if you're typing, because the guy who does them for you, he types it out. If you make a mistake, you have to do it again. You can't have any mistakes on the form. You can't give the IRS a mistake. All right. So hang on. Financial instrument for payment. That's exactly right. That's why it has to be a debit card, or that type of debit, or a check, or your credit card machine, or anything like that at all. Standard orders, direct debits, anything like that. Automatic payments, EFTs. Any debit that you can actually qualify and see and go through. Just you can't take cash out, and you can't deal with that. But anyway, so you've got to do that with the IRS, and then you have to get an ITIN number, which you do through a W-8 form, and you have to do all of this. And this is why we're using an expert, at least this first time. I might do it the second time as well, while I'm still learning how to do the forms. You've got to think, I'm learning how to do the forms on this tax form, right? I can barely do my own tax return. Although that, anyway, I'm not going to say too much about that. But when you're doing this form, I'm learning how to do this. Plus, I'm still learning these trusts as well, because I want to be able to do trusts for people. We need to be doing trusts. All right. Trust me, you need trusts. I'm going to say a little bit more about that in a second. But because you have to deal with the IRS, you have to go in and you have to give them your name. What name do you give them? What name do you think you'd have to give them? Huh? You have to give them your straw man name. Okay? You have to give them your straw man name. Yeah? So on your straw man name, you want protection. Now I'm gonna read something out to you here. Just gonna have a quick check of these. Can you claim a note on all the transactions? I don't know what that means. Claim a note. Like, well, the thing is, right? I don't know about a Q and an R 1099. There's a Q and an RA and a Q and an RC. A Q and an RA and a 1099A and a 1099C. That is the forms that you use. All right. So but you have to get them from the tax office. Don't try and get them and from like online from anybody at the they're not real. Okay. Yeah, the fiction, the legal fiction that ends legis or legis, however you want to pronounce it. So because you have to do this with the IRS, all right, you want to be under the UCC 1. All right. It's got nothing to do with the UK, Australia, New Zealand. It's got nothing to do with the sovereignty papers. We've told you about them. Get them off, get them signed for. Make sure that you're stating that you're sovereign. You do not consent. You will not give them tacit consent. But you want to protect your living being away from the person. All right. So you want that protection. So on the UCC 1, it totally separates your name, right? Your ens legis or your corporation name from you as a living man or woman. All right. So that's what you have to do. Well, you don't have to, right? But that's up to you what you want to do. But I wouldn't. That's right. I'm going to read this out. I'll find it. Here we go. Okay. So the straw man debtor that does the 1099 OID, then the secured creditor, it's not liable under UCC 3-402B, a provision of the Uniform Commercial Code that provides an authorized representative who signs an instrument is not personally liable on the instrument if the representative signature shows unambiguously that the signature is made on behalf of a represented person identified in the instrument. You are not personally liable for mistakes, financially liable, right? So you've shown them on the UCC. You're under the UCC 1. Okay. I know that there's a lot of people in, I don't know what you call it, truth movement, sovereignty movement. I don't know what you'd call it, but and they say, UCC is a load of rubbish. UCC is only this. UCC, it's got specific uses, right, that you need to know about. It's got specific uses that you need to use it for. So this is a perfect example, right? You're not going to go into a UK court and go, right, I'm under UCC 1308. You're not going to be doing this. They're not going to listen to you on a UCC code because they're going to be using UK statute act number, 136 of the Road Traffic Act. They're allowed, or 163, they're allowed to stop you. Or 164, they're not allowed to search your car. Just remember that if you ever get stopped. All right. But that's what they're going to do. They're going to use acts and statutes of there. And if it's in the US, you can use either UCC or the USC, which is their acts. Okay. So if it was in New Zealand, again, they're going to be using, or in Australia, they're going to be using their acts, right? But if we want to be doing this work where you can actually declare yourself through the IRS by getting the EIN, then you can get your 1099 claim and you can get that money every year, and it's going to go up every year. You're insane not to do it. All right. So imagine what's going on now. Look at what's going on now. We don't know what's going to be the end result. We've got to be fighting, and we've got to be sovereign. We've got to be like real stand-up men and women, right, of the land, all right, and stand up for all of our civil rights, our human rights, and our sovereign rights. Okay, but if they're going to be smashing us down all the time and trying to get it so that you haven't got any finance, you haven't got any money coming in for, or whatever, they're trying to close jobs down, close my business down for a year. All right. And it's not pointless me fighting because I'm teaching loads of little children. I can't get loads of little children to push past the police when the police are trying to bully them. I can't do that, you know. So I'm not in a position, you know. I did. Oh, I didn't. One of my friends, I went to his gym in Hartlepool. He's called Eddie Elwood. He was the strongest man in Britain. He was Mr. Universe for 4 years or something on the trot. And he kept his business, his gym open all the way through the first lockdown, all the way through the second lockdown, and they only closed them down in the third one. But I mean, you know, they were all bodybuilders and martial artists, you know, like adults, you know, so like they could fight. Man, I've got no chance of doing that. All right. So on here, right, if we like need to protect ourselves even more, and you know, protect ourselves against them, all right, but also, right, if we have this even though it's fiat currency and we're using their system, there's a lot of people don't like the UCC because you're using their system, but so is Acts. Everything is their system. It's you can be sovereign and be the representative, which is what, like, separate yourself from your straw man. You are then the agent or representative of the straw man. You're not the trustee anymore. You're the beneficiary. So why not do it? All right. And then you got this money as backup then, right? I'm going to do it for you. You can watch, and if it works, then everyone can jump on the bandwagon and get going with that. All right. So then you've got that finance coming in to protect you to do all the other stuff. So if you can't work, you can still be sovereign. Then you can concentrate on getting a trust created, right? A private trust created. So if you are investing in all that gold and silver, the authorized representative, that's exactly right. But it depends, right? Because like I'll talk about trusts where it changes. You're not an authorized representative when you're talking about a trust, okay? You're the, I don't want to get too complicated, but there's different ways of signing things or giving your sign of nature or your autograph. When you're dealing in trusts, you sign it in a totally different way. So, which is part of when I was telling you how I've changed on the A for V, because when you're actually making someone the fiduciary trustee, you actually sign it as the settlor of the trust. It makes it a legal binding document. So you would never sign it as the agent or authorized representative, as you do when you say doing a notice to the court or a notice to, or anyone. Okay, but like I said, so using that UCC, then it protects you so that you can do the 1099. Then you've got that income coming in, and there's going to be more income than what I've ever seen in my life. Right, so it probably the more than what you've ever seen, because of the big lump sum, and then you get it every single year forever. So that's going to be like protected, no matter what happens, no matter what they do to you, and it's still using their system. Right now, I'm not trying to think of how to say this without like upsetting too many people, but look, there's certain people that go on and start telling you that there's going to be a superhero is going to arrive and that everything's going to be fine, and that Nosara Jasara is going to come pumping in there, and that that you're going to get all this like gold, and there's some alien fairies going to come in and are going to make sure that you're a good enough person, and they're going to dump gold in a big pot for you. This is Nosara Jasara here. This is it. This is remedy. This is remedy that was created, right, back in the day when they first bankrupted it, so that there was remedy for the people. They had to give remedy to the problem. They created the problem. They created the remedy. This is it. Okay? This is there for you. All right? Okay, Nosara Jasara is the 1099. That is exactly right. So this is the way to go about it. This is what they did for you, but they didn't tell you. Right? It's the same as when the fraud that they do with the birth certificate. But you can claim that back within 14 days. Did you know that? So even if you've registered on a birth certificate, you can cancel it and take it away. All right? If you claim it back within 14 days, and then your child is not registered with the state, which means they're not a ward of the state, which means that you have took ownership of your own children back. All right. So it's the same type of thing. Okay. So with this, they gave that remedy. It is remedy for you, for your life, but they just didn't tell you. All right, give me a look at this. Well, really, in reality, someone's just asking about a credit rating, which is kind of like touches on it, you know. But in the end, you don't want to be getting credit. In the end, you don't want to be caring about credit. All right. If we get a 1099 coming through and you're getting that level of finance coming through and it goes up every year, like I've just explained, it's still going to be under their system. This cabal is not beaten. This cabal is not going away. This has been there. Even if it starts to crumble, which I think it will, right? And I do think that it will collapse, but it's not gonna happen in a week. I'm telling you, right? Even if something did happen and somebody come and they try, and this magic man came and they were I'm gonna start changing all the systems. It would take about 15 to 20 years to change the system. You couldn't just stop the world. Boom, stop button. All right, because everything would shut. Everything would actually stop. All the supply chains would be gone. There would be literally like chaos and violence everywhere. All right, because there will be no food. Now, look at the UK. What are they doing? What are they loading the UK with? What is landing on the borders of the UK every single day by the boatload? And I mean the boatload, right? They're landing them and they're allowing them to come in, and they are young fighting men that are landing down there. Okay? So you don't want that happening. You want a regime where it's like controlled. So you're not really going to need to worry about a credit rating. I've got a terrible credit rating. Do you know what the credit rating is? It's telling people what a big mug you are. The higher your number, the bigger mug you are, and the bigger you're going to get ripped off. All right? I don't pay anything. So like, my credit rating is terrible, and I don't want to have a good credit rating because I don't want to lend anything. I don't want to borrow anything. I don't want a good credit rating. To hell with the credit rating. You can do notices, and you can actually send it off to the credit company and the bank, say for instance, or credit card company, making sure that they take it off through affidavit, and you can get a sworn affidavit, to get it corrected if you've done an A for V or these debt collection agencies. They've got no standard in law, right? They shouldn't be collecting any money whatsoever, and you can easily get rid of them. And if they try to do anything with your credit rating, you can get it corrected. But we need to be working on a sovereign side where we don't worry about credit, right? Especially if we get this 1099 going. We will not need credit, and we will not need benefits, right? We will not need to be mixing ourselves in their world of commerce. You're still going to have to actually be in commerce. But that's why on two things, because you're going to have to do it no matter if you live in Australia, New Zealand, France, UK, you have to deal with the IRS. Now, although the IRS is based in Puerto Rico, you have to speak to the offices, which is in the United States. So you have to get all your numbers declared with the United States. So you have to be dipping in and out of commerce all the time. And again, there's a lot of people can understand this, well, if you're sovereign, and if you're there, then you can't do commerce, and you can't hire a car, and you can't, you got to go and live in a field and eat grass, and you're not allowed to speak to anyone. You're not allowed a telephone, and you're not allowed a television. It doesn't have to be like that. But you also have to know to be like them, which we have to touch on trusts before I go. All right. Well, I'll explain about them. When I mean them, you know who I mean. The cabal, basically. All right. So you have to control commerce by controlling your straw man. You control your legal fiction by being the beneficiary, all right, not the trustee. You make them the trustee, and you control the straw man. So you can dip in and out of the commerce, and you can do the 1099, right? And then you'll actually have that finance where you'll not have to worry about your credit rating. Why would you ever worry about credit rating? Go and borrow money when you can literally, if you're getting that kind of money every year, go and buy a house for cash, buy a car for cash. And you've got to spend the money. You've got to spend the money because you want to claim it back next year. So how good is that? Quickly spend all that money. Go out there. I mean, we're we've got a bit of a shared inheritance thing, so we're going to pay for that so that we actually own the whole property outright, and then we're going to make sure everything's like, you know, extended and to get everything done like that. So we're spending and spending so we can get it claimed back the next year. And buy land, start growing your own food. Yeah, you're always going to get poisoned by them, but you can limit that poison, right, by starting growing your own fruit and veg. And you can do it the way that the Spanish do it when they have big long polytunnels, so that you're not, you know, I mean, I live in Northumberland. It's, you know, it's freezing most of the time, but you have the polytunnels where you can actually, you know, so you're spending that money. So what is that if it's not Nosara Jisara as these people talk about? Okay, but I'm not promising any Nosara Jisara by saying, oh, I'm going to show you some fireworks in Portugal because it went over like, well, how insane is that? Look, this is the way of doing it. This is the way of getting your remedy, okay, and, you know, using it that way. And then, okay, then you've got like that protection. And then we're saying is like, then we have to look at trusts. Trusts are everything. Trusts are like brilliant. And all of these people that we've got that are running the world, everything that they do is in a trust. The mess that they've put us in started in 1312 with Boniface when he created the first testamentary trust. Yeah, the Unum Sanctum. And that's been, you know, they've been setting trusts up ever since then. But you can set a trust up, a private trust. All right. Now, if you look at this money coming in, if you do this, just think of this. If you've got this money coming in and they turn around and they say you can't have that job unless you have, fuck them. You know, who cares? You've got this 1099 money coming in there, right? Which is, you know, it's something, because it's the remedy and it's set up and it is there by those acts, you know, it's going to be there forever. The system isn't going to crumble. All right. So, you know, if you've got that type of money, I mean, what is it that they could possibly make you do to force that? It's just simply not possible. And if you do the sovereignty papers, and with the sovereignty papers, you're declaring that you are not consenting to anything. You are not under tacit consent or any other form of consent. You are a sovereign man or woman on the land. Okay, not a free man, none of that rubbish. You're talking about real sovereignty. So then you can set up a private trust, or you can set up a private health trust, and you can put your body in a private health trust. You can put your DNA in a private health trust. So no one can legally do anything to your body because it belongs to a trust. Doesn't belong to you, doesn't belong to them. No one's allowed to touch it. It's in a trust. Your DNA is registered in a trust. So they can't give you anything that would alter the DNA. We know what we're talking about. You know what you're talking, you know what I'm saying, right? So there's nothing can go on that can alter anything because it's in a trust. This is how powerful a trust is. Okay. Now, I know Andrew's on here. So talking about property, okay, your home, right? Even if you have a mortgage, you can still put up a bit there. You can still put your property in a trust, even if it's got a mortgage on. What the mortgage company do is they put a charge on the land registry, but you still have the title deed. You can put that title deed into a trust. All right, you register it in a trust. Now, I'm telling you, if you get that in a trust, even if you never paid that mortgage back, it would be impossible for them to take that property from you. So if there was like what do they call it again when they call it like leasehold, and they say, oh, we own the land now, and they charge these rental things and everything like that. And now if you just refuse point blank, now they can, like, your credit rating would be shot, but who cares? Because you're going to get a 1099 at OID. You're going to get money coming in every year. But they swear we're going to go and we're going to, like, I don't know, like put an order against you or something. We're going to come and take your property. It's in a trust. It doesn't belong to you. Put your property in a trust. Put everything you own in a trust. Your car should be in a trust. Register it. right? I know that, but it disappears if you do it that way. And do you know what? The and I'm just moving that down. The when it's getting put in the trust, then you're not owning it, right? So just say, for instance, you've got like go through the camera, beep, and then you're doing like 35 and 30 is on it. Now, lawfully, you cannot tell anyone any of the details that are inside of a trust. So even if they're sentencing who was the driver, you can't tell them anything about that. Now, the trustee is the owner. The trustee of the trust is the owner of the car, the vehicle, or whatever, which I was going to talk about driving and how traveling is different to driving. Well, for a trust, right now, I mean, there's a couple of companies that I do know that do private trusts. And I think there's one guy in the group as well that does them. I'm literally, that's why I'm so busy. I'm doing this course on learning how to do the 1099 forms, but I'm also doing the course on how to create private trusts legally and set up. So, I mean, it's mine was like something like $3,000. It's a lot of money to set up the private trust. So I want to be able to do it to make it more affordable for people. And I want to look at it so that I can set up a group private trust. And in that group private health trust, everybody can join for like a smaller fee, and you're all in it so that your body is owned by that trust. So nobody can touch your body. Your DNA can be registered in it. All right. Now, I know people that have done this and it's worked when they've got arrested. And they went, well, we need fingerprints. You can't have the fingerprints because they're not mine. They're registered in a trust. And it's true. So we need your DNA or you're not getting released. You can't have my DNA because it's not mine. It's registered in a trust. It's registered as a medical experiment in a private trust. And then you've got the trust documents and it's written in there. There's nothing that they can do to you. So this is why we need to do more on the trusts. And that's why I'm working hard, so that I'm studying hard, so that I can find out a way. I mean, I know it's not rocket science. It's just to get all the paperwork in there, get it in line so it's legal and lawful at the same time, both sides of the coin, because we need it to be. All right. And then I can do it like where it's not as expensive. You see, that's what I want to try and help more that way, and then get more people going and do different ways. So, and everybody should have their own private trust, and you should have your family, every member of your family in it. Then you should have all of your property in it, including cars, properties like houses. Once you get that 1099 money coming in there, you've got to spend it to get it back again. So you're going to go and buy a holiday cottage or something like that, right? So you're going to you put that in a trust. Everything is held in a trust. And then the trust itself, when you've got what they call the I can't remember the name. Something beneficiary. There's something else. Default beneficiary, i.e., I die, or me and Janine die, then it passes on to the named default beneficiary, which is like our son in our case, or whoever you want it to go to. Gary Watts does great books on trusts. Yeah, great books, Gary Watts. So if you go on, I think you might even be able to get it on Amazon, maybe. I don't 100% know, because I get a lot of my books from online secondhand bookstores. Got where are they now? These law dictionaries, these very important ones. Bouvier's, it's used a lot. Bouvier's law dictionaries. I know this is a different subject, but I'm talking, and I've got the UCC code book. I mean, this. When you get these from law shops, these are about like 500 quid. The UCC one was something like 1,600 quid or something. The Black's Law Dictionary, I got that. If you get Black's Law Dictionary, I was doing a specific course on equity, and it needed to be the 6th edition. So I've got Black's Law Dictionary, the 11th edition. I've also got the 6th edition because of this specific course I was doing on equity and trusts, which they told me I needed it. But you want to get the 4th edition, all right? You want to get Black's Law 4th edition. It's the best one, okay? So that's that one there. Look, by John Bouvier. There's volume 1 and volume 2. And you see, when you're doing your notices, all right, which you should still be doing. You're getting your 1099, you're getting your private trust, you've still got to be looking after yourself, all right? And you can reference this, and also you can get it online as well, and you want to be backing everything up with case law. So if you do get any problems with council tax or anything like that, you can quote case law, especially David Ward against Warrington County Council. You know, you've got to know the case law and tie it into any notices you're given. That's why, you know, on bits, we have it written out, talking about case laws, you know, on the legal notice and demand, and we quote case law. I think possibly about, can't see without my glasses on, might say about David Ward. I don't know. I've got a few different things in it. You know, you will, if you've got them, you'll know, you'll have went through them. The thing is, on my website, yeah, Bouvier's, it's brilliant, Bouvier's Law Dictionary, but like also I have where is it there now? Stroud's as well. Stroud's dictionary, which is it's a judiciary dictionary, so it tells you about judicial cases, so you can get case law and good case law to help fight. And this is how you cross-reference everything. It's like everything has got to be researched, you know. And this is how it's not it's not bedtime reading, right? But I mean that we need to equip ourselves and educate ourselves so we can actually combat these people, because they're not educated. You know, these clowns in costumes have got no idea what law is. We need to know the law inside and out and be able to state the law to them, because they've got no clue. And when they do come up with things in the state and statutes and acts, you know, you can still, right, use statutes and acts if you know how to back it up, because common law, God's law, the law, right, the acts and statutes are kind of bolted on, so you can go in and out of it, you know, and that's, it works in our favor if you do it correctly and you know it correctly. All right, so Bouvier's Law Dictionary is used all over the world, and all case law. A lot of case law in the UK is stated in the USA. They use UK case law and vice versa. All right, it's that's the way it works. That's the way it is. So yeah, it is. Bouvier was from the United States, but that there, and same with Black Law's Dictionary, but also to back you up with it as well. And this is the one that when I was telling people about the courts, all right, the administrative courts in England have got no legal standing whatsoever, and it states it in here, where Halesbury's Laws of England, it states it in there. Administration courts have got no legal standing. Okay, the in England. So the administrative courts, as in magistrates' courts, in fact, no courts are legal in England. So if you want to shut the court down, right, you just need Halesbury's Laws of England, right? I've got it written down somewhere what actual paragraph it is as well. But I mean, you know, it's up to you. Research it, go in, have a look at it, Google it. All right, you buy that. This one, I mean, there was something like, I'm sure there was something like £900 or £1,100 or something. I got that for about 30 in a secondhand bookstore, online secondhand bookstore. And in here, right, if you can obviously cross-reference, because it's got hang on, you know, going to the table of statutes, so you can go in and actually pick up what you know, this one's, it's talking about a Solicitors Act. So if you wanted something about the Solicitors Act, find out where it is, go through, read it, all right? And that's what, you know, you're going to get your bits of it is the whole of the UK. That's just what it's called. It will cover Scotland. You know, and there's only 2 or 3 different things in Scotland. I know property is a little bit different. You know, but again, it's easily cross-referenced, and a lot of it, when it comes to legal things, I'm talking about legal, right, Thelma? Not lawful, not the law, right? Whereas they've got a few acts that are different in Scotland, but the acts are legalese. That's not, what do you call it? It's not law, right? Legal and lawful are not the same. So a lot of the acts are slightly different in Scotland to England, but the law is the law, all right? So on the trusts things, that's what I was saying about the trusts. We need to really, I am going to get ready so I'll be able to offer it, like, and get people on the trusts. But that's what everybody should have, their own private trust, everyone, so that you put all your property in there and protect everything. It's the only way to do it. All these people, these rich scumbags, you know, nothing wrong with being rich. I'm just talking about, you know who we're talking about, you know, Tony Blair, Tony B. Liar, you know, all that money that just appeared out of nowhere, like, and he's all of a sudden he's like a multi-billionaire or something. All of it's in a trust. Nobody knows where everything went to. You know what I mean? So, but now it's all protected in trust because it's not his income. And so we have to do the same. So imagine, you know, you've got like this 1099, that money is coming in there, and then you're reinvesting that, putting that into like into a trust, gold and silver, then put it into a trust, bury it in your garden. Tell me where it is. But oh man, hang on. Throat's wrecking me. What time? 8 o'clock nearly. Oh wow. Okay, so I know tonight I wanted to just do it a little bit different. What I do normally is when we go on and do the webinars for like the private group. Bit more there, and I'll generally pick a certain topic. So like say we're going to talk about commercial liens, how to actually do commercial liens on people or on companies, and also how to do like last time we did how to do an EFT, which is by an old check. I know it's confusing. It's not an EFT that you would think from your bank. It's a different way of doing it, or the A for V, or specific law cases, even specific like debt things like that. And it's not a debt group, it's not about that, but sometimes it does cross over. It has to. It's just one of them funny things. I am actually going to set up like a different group just purely for debt, on how to fight debt, so it doesn't get too bogged down on one side or the other, because it is about sovereignty, it is about freedom, it is about, you know, us like against them, right? So that we can't get forced and coerced, you know, or you've got tacit consent when you've agreed to everything just because you're living in this country, or that whatever country that you're living in. So, you know, mainly it's, you know, we are about well, I'm going to be just trying to get set up trusts for people very soon, but there are other companies. If you go on Google and just have a look and just say like private trusts, anybody that does it, okay? But I will be doing it for people. Obviously, it's up to you if you get one or not, but you know, you can get one from anywhere, you know. But it's definitely something that you want to be doing, because you've got to protect yourself from all of these scumbags, you know. You put the private trust is under common law, right? And for instance, I've put my car in the trust. So what I did was I actually filled in the is it called a V5, like the form that goes off to the DVLA, and I put like on there that you have to put the new owners, and I just put trustee, and then I put the what do you call it, the address, because the trust, make sure your private trust is not at your home address, it's got to be a different address. So I put it down at that address, and then we got the note back within the week that they sent you saying, well, you are not the owner anymore, and that's it, you're not the owner of that, or keeper, whatever they call it. And we've never heard any word back from it since, you know. And we are freely traveling on our private conveyance, but it's inside the paperwork. So I have my private trust. And inside that, it's witnessed of everything that I've put in the trust. So when I put the car in, okay, right, we write it in here. I get it signed by an independent witness, and I go in as a trustee, right? But like the way I'll set it up differently for everybody else, but you know, you have certain people are trustees, certain people are beneficiaries, but that's how you would prove it. You would actually have it inside of your paperwork, and it's signed for by an independent witness. But like I say, if you do it for your property, now I know that you can get a allodial title by getting rid of the land registry, but if you wanted to have that property held by the trust and be able to prove it easily, then you can declare that to the land registry, right? Instead of trying to fight with the land registry. Register it as who owns it, trustee of that trust, my family trust, my private trust. So that there's the paperwork trail of it as well. So you've actually declared it inside the trust and with them, actually with the corporation. It's in a trust, and they know they can't touch it. They know. Okay. So I think I'm going to be wrapping it up, man. My throat is wrecking me talking that much. I actually I'll just quickly check these notes here. There is a lot more that I was wanting to say, but the thing is, you know, I can go over it on a different time. But I just wanted to do it a little bit different, open it up to more people so that you could all see what was going on. And if anybody does get the chance, try and like it and share it. All right, when you go in to YouTube or whatever it goes up on. Hopefully it's saved on them all. I've never done like this StreamYard before, so hopefully that's the way it works. And try and get like more of the word out for people to become sovereign and working on sovereignty, even if it's not with me, just with someone else. I don't care. But like we need more people to be standing up to Doris. It's not Watercock anymore, but I don't know what any of the names are. But there you go. All right, and putting them in the place and telling them that we do not consent. Okay. So which edition of this? This is 4th, I think. It's getting dark in here. I can't see anything. Where are my glasses? Where is it? 4th edition, this one. Halesbury's Laws of England. Okay. But they're, if you've got Halesbury's Laws of England, all right, if you've got that book, just say if you're in the UK, right? But I tell you, there's so many tied in with all the other jurisdictions for different countries, and then you get like Black's Law Dictionary on there, plus Bouvier's Law Dictionary on there, right? And well, I've got a couple of different, and you get the Stroud's Judicial Dictionary through those books all together, referencing and cross-referencing, and something comes up in your life that you have to actually get references for, then you're going to find what you need. All right, you're going to find what you need, and then all right, you've got the tools to lawfully stand up for yourself as a sovereign man or woman, right? And they can't do anything about it. We need to know the law and be able to stand on the law as sovereign in here and in here. Okay. Oh, I'm choking now. You hear my voice going. All right. Same here. I think the oath is the same, yeah. But do you know any of them that stand on it? Not many of them stand on their oath, do they? You know? So, well, as well, you know, when I was showing you the things, right, what you need to be able to look after yourself. All right. I've got one down the stairs that I was wearing the other day. But this is the other one I got for Janine. All right. It's like the body cam. And you wear the body cam. You don't want to be doing your phone and filming them on your phone. Film them on here, and it can last for hours. You know, you can film for hours. and because I've seen it before, and you're doing it with a phone, and they're snatching phones off people. And then now they're going to say, like, oh, I want to, we need to search you or take your phone and make sure you're not dealing drugs on your phone. I've heard all that rubbish, right? You just have that. And they say, well, I want your phone. So I haven't got a phone. Don't use a phone. So body cam. This is legal, by the way, perfectly legal. I think they call it canine spray, First Strike canine spray. You can get it from police stores online. This is what these were off. Yeah. Okay. I've got 4 crossbows, 2 small ones and 2 big ones, and a repeating one. You just load fire. Yeah. I've got some of them as well. I'm not going to walk down the street with them, but that's fine. If it was ever got two Mad Max, then we're all that. Okay. Well, at the end of the day, I think anybody who sort of like says something, like what I'm saying, it is definitely putting your head above the parapet, and strange things happen. But you know what? I don't care. I'm here for the fight. I'm here to help people, and I'm here to, like, not just be sovereign for me, but for help other people to, like, be able to stand up against tyranny, because that's what we have to do. We by law, you see everybody you see them in the United States, and I can't remember what number it is. I can't even remember what the Fifth Amendment and all that stuff, but they're allowed to carry weapons. It's a fact. I'll get the law up for England. You are allowed to carry weapons. All right. It doesn't say what type of weapons, and I think it goes back for when you had to be a defender of the realm, whereas we had to carry swords ready to defend against invasion. But it's still the law. They just hide it with these acts and these statutes. I mean, on the democracy, the real Second Amendment, yeah, that for the weapons, but we still allowed to carry weapons. I'll get the law. I'll go and get it, and I'll post it up, because and it tells you, like, on there how you're allowed to do it, and they'll point blank disagree with you, obviously, but they're all armed, all them clowns, and they're very happy to use it as well. But we are allowed, and I was reading it just last week, actually, about and it goes back in history why we're actually allowed to carry weapons, and it was you actually had to carry weapons, and you had to be able to use them as well. So because we actually do a lot of Filipino martial arts. Hang on 2 seconds, I'll go show you something. So, like, on the Filipino martial arts, it's called a few different names: Eskrima, Kali, or Arnis. So there's one of the little pistol crossbows. You just put your string on, all right, pull that back, push it in, and then we fire. But I also have a real big one with a laser on as well. But on the Filipino martial arts, when they're doing Kali or Eskrima, it's all with weapons, knives and sticks and swords and stuff like that. So this is what we've bought. This one, this is Janine's. All right. So we learn how to use these properly, in our classes. I mean, I was sharpening this the other day. This is Shavia. I mean, that's razor sharp. You know, that would slice someone's head off. Not that I want to do that. I'm just so we learn how to use it properly. You know, that's Janine's. I got it as a present. She's like, oh, thank you. You know, you're mad. And then this is mine. So that's a kukri, like the Gurkhas use. All right, same. I mean, it's razor sharp, like, but the way we teach, we learn how to not just use them but disarm people as well. You know, so it's a very handy thing. You know, to be able to learn. We do like a lot of weapon disarms and stuff like that. A lot of good self-defense stuff like that. And in real life as well, you know, with sticks, disarming sticks, and Janine got like we were together, but I was trying to hold the kids, and then like these two idiots, it was during the day, middle of the day as well, came up trying to attack us with a baseball bat, and Janine actually took it off them and then chased them down the street. She had a skirt on and everything, like, you know, running down the street, took this baseball bat off these two idiots. That what a thing to do. And chased them down the street, and they ran into this house and a lot, and they were crying. And funnily, like, you know, actually knew the dad or stepdad when I went there. You know, he knew who I was and everything and what we did, and he's locking them in there, telling them how stupid they are. But anyway, Krav Maga is brilliant. I went to the Krav Maga headquarters in Los Angeles. Trained in there, and it was like walking into a 5-star hotel. You know, like, oh, it was unbelievable. I don't know how much it was to train. It must have easily been something like $500-600 a month just to train in there. Yeah, she was. She'd done them, but same thing as well. She like in a pub, a local pub. Or bar, what they would call it, and this guy just like who actually used to live in this street, real horrible bloke, and you know, giving her a hard time, being rude and everything like that, you know, saying stuff you shouldn't be saying. And I had taught her how to do these kicks and everything, and she dropped him in the middle of the bar in front of all of his friends, this bloke, like, you know, and then just walked away. You know, he's like, how humiliating is that, if nothing else, but absolutely brilliant. You know, but if anybody wants access, I've got a self-defense course, and we have sold it to a lot of people, but I've given free access to anyone that's in our group. But if anyone wants on, let me know, because on it, the psychology side, where you're talking about like how because a lot of people get scared, you know, and the adrenaline rushes, and it's hard to think. And this is like a lot of like the psychology stuff on how to cope with adrenaline, how to use it and everything, you know. So if you want, just let me know. Where to buy it from, I don't know. I think it's on a prepper site, prepping, you know. Oh, you're more than welcome, Julia. Hope you enjoyed it. You know, because we've got loads of rations as well. We've got military rations. Got the garage full of food, you know, for like all year, if that comes to that. You know, I've never in my life thought I would ever be like that. And I used to like see these people on the television, and you think, oh, they're mad. But look, what's the last 18 months, you know? Well, do you know, if you were wanting to do a martial art, to do the thing is, right, I love martial arts. I wouldn't be saying anything wrong about any martial arts, and I think the discipline side is brilliant. I love teaching well, kids, adults, everyone, but the self-defense would be better to learn if it's simple and you can do it fast. All right. You know, but like if you're going on to like a martial art, it is an art, and it takes years, you know, to get any, you know, to get so like used to it and get really good at it. So self-defense, where you can do things, we teach things with pens, you know, with keys and stuff like that. So everyone can have a pen, everyone can have a key. You got a spare key, you know, we show you how to disarm people, how to literally maim people if you needed to, but it's better than getting raped or murdered, isn't it? You know, on that self-defense course, if anyone wants access, like I said, we've sold it for $500, like, to get into it. You can just have it free access. Let me know and I'll let you in, you know, free access forever. Looking at the videos, the psychology talking really is good. A lot of people from other instructors have said that was really good on how to, like, the psychology of them and us, you know, when it comes to a self-defense situation. And you know, so anybody can get that. Just let me know. Just like email me, peter@claimmystrawman.com, peter@claimmystrawman.com, or have a look on the any of the YouTube channels videos, and I think the website's on there. So, you know, peter@claimmystrawman.com, something like that. Anyway, all right, I'm going to shoot off. I'm going to go and get my throat's killing me now. Nice cold beer in the fridge. I hear it shouting my name. Get down to the fridge and start emptying it. No, I only have a couple, but like, it is so like, I need some refreshment. I'll go put these back in. I'll hide them away back in the safe deposit boxes, like a one-man army, like everything on there. But we will do this again, and obviously on the private group side for the members, you know, we've got other things that are going to be coming up for it as well. I hope everyone enjoyed it, and everybody take care. Have a great end of the weekend, Saturday evening and Sunday, and good luck for everything that's going on. Any questions, you know what, just send it in, email and everything. And yeah, it's just water. It's because it needs to be beer, cold beer. All right, so I think I'll wrap it up. I don't know how to do it. It says end broadcast up there, so I'll do that and see. So see you, people. Take care. All right, love to everybody. Okay, on to that. Bye. Let's see it. End broadcast.